most users don't want to give away their personal data in Western Europe, whereas Chinese companies, as a basic business model, take as much data as they can and sell that data to monetize. It's a basic business model in China. Because in China and most emerging markets, there's less of a concern about data.
In the past, I think brands make decisions based on history or based on their experience. And now they wanted to be more scientific and look at a more scalable point of view. And they wanted to use technologies, they want to use some online platforms, and then they look at the data.
Data isn't the most important thing. I think what's most important is the way that we interpret the data. There is Linkfluence. We take in about we take 300 million data sources globally, and a big portion of that is in Asia. A big portion of that is in China. And what we try to do is get brands from this big data overload to taking observations and insights out of the data.
As we call it in China, like you always start with how do you accumulate the data. So first of all, you need to have the end goal in mind, as we all learn. How do you verify or validate the data? That's also critical, what we call data cleaning and data normalization. And then connecting the data, number 3. So I think that's number 4. That's where the analytics and the tools, including visualization of the data, real-time analytics, and then connecting with, as I mentioned, the benchmark database. That's critical. So I think it's the whole process. How do you actually handle that? But the challenges, especially for China, is that how do you make real-time access to understand these behavior and preferences. And sometimes, one of our clients is Procter & Gamble, for example. I think Procter & Gamble has been selling, quote-unquote, the concept of the so-called the first moment of truth, the moment when you touch the product, when you start to use the product. But now in China especially, you actually will be talking about what we call the zero moment of truth. You don't even experience or touch the product before you even bought it.